Shereé, and this is the 4th episode in the Elevate with Ankara series. I'm so happy that you stopped on this video today. Today, we are going to be talking about the very first garment in the series. But first, if you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're a returning person, thank you so much for your continued support. All right, let's get into it. If you hadn't already heard about the Elevate with Ankara sewing series, it is a sewing series that Talisha of Creativity by T and I put together for YouTube. We'll also be posting some pictures on Instagram. Now, in previous episodes, we have shared an introduction video. We have shared a shop our own personal Ankara fabric stash video on each of our channels. And we also did a special interview with CJ of House of Mami Wata. I highly encourage you to go check out that interview here on my channel. And during that interview, you will receive a special code, which will give you an opportunity to get some free Ankara fabric with the purchase of Ankara fabric at House of Mami Wata. So be sure to check out that video. I'll also insert more information about the series in the information section below. Now that we've already shared what Ankara fabric is and we've shopped our Ankara fabric stash with you, as well as gained some really wonderful information from CJ at House of Mami Wata, going forward, our sewing series will work that we will post a introduction to the garment for our first video in the month, and the second video in the month will be the actual garment reveal. So this first garment I'm excited to announce is a button-up shirt, okay? We all wear button-up shirts, and if you aren't wearing one, that's okay. Maybe this will encourage you to try a button-up shirt pattern. Now, each of us is creating a video to share our top picks for a button-up shirt using Ankara fabric. I will be sharing with you here on my channel the selections that I have chosen, which was really hard for me to narrow down, guys. I have so many button-up shirt patterns in my stash. It's incredible, and quite a few of them I've already sewn up. And so I really took my time to narrow down what I believe would be my top pick from my stash for Ankara fabric. Now, after you watch this video, head over to Talisha's channel of Creativity by T. I will link it in the information section below, and check out her top picks for the perfect button-up shirt using Ankara fabric. Let's talk about the very first button-up shirt pattern that I have that I think would be great for Ankara fabric. I think that we should all give a try McCall's 8220. This is a fantastic pattern. I want to say that this pattern was actually released last year. I can't be certain about that, but I'm pretty sure that's when I picked this pattern up and it was new. I really like this because it has a grown-on sleeve and it looks like it's going to be a very quick and easy sew. So if you're new to sewing, this might be one that is really good for you to try out. I'm going to insert a picture of the line drawing so that you can see the pattern pieces and the size of them for this pattern. One of the reasons why I really like this shirt for an Ankara fabric is that with the grown-on sleeve, you have a large area that you could use a beautiful Ankara print and not have to cut it too much into the design of the pattern. It does have a center back seam, but if you're creative and you have a large scale print that you'd like to put on the back of your shirt, you could slice that pattern right in the middle of whatever design. Like say it's a large flower, slice it right in the middle, and when you bring those two pieces together, you will have only lost 5/8 of an inch on each side of that flower when you connect it in the middle, and I still think that it would be really beautiful. Now, with the front pieces being grown on, you can obviously see that it would also lend itself well for keeping a nice print uniform, okay? I think this would be a really great pattern for anyone to try, but especially someone that is a beginner. And let's talk about the notions. The notions required would be 5/8 inch buttons, and you would also need elastic for the wrists if you're doing the long sleeve version. Now, included in this pattern is a pattern for a mask. It's not shown on the front of the pattern, but on the back there is a pattern for a mask. So if you wanted to really show off and have a coordinating mask with your shirt and a really standout Ankara fabric, you could absolutely do that. Friends, please keep wearing your masks, okay? COVID is still out here, okay? It's still thriving and taking people down, okay? So please be safe and make sure that you're wearing your mask. If you're a person that wears disposables, like for myself personally, when I'm working, I do use disposables just because I need a little bit extra coverage. I might even double up on my mask during certain times, like right now with the flu season and everything. But when I am just on my weekend and I'm running errands, I will wear a mask that I've made often, and I just keep them in my purse. I'm not getting close contact with anyone, so I feel a bit safer wearing those. Whereas when I'm working, I'm holding children, I'm carrying babies, I'm doing all this stuff that gives me very close contact, so I prefer to have the disposable double up situation. But yeah, if you want to show off and have that matching mask with your shirt, try this pattern out. I really think this is a good one. The next pattern that I have is actually an older pattern, and I believe you can still purchase it. I want to say that I sewed this up 2 years ago, but even still, the last time I was at Joann's, they still had it in my local, well, it's not local, but you know, in the Joann's that I shop at. And this is the Vogue, Very Easy Vogue V9299. Now, I will insert pictures of this pattern. Why I think this would be a fantastic pattern is because there's so many different views in this pattern, but one in particular that I really like is view F, which is more of a tunic length of a button-up shirt. It has huge panels in the front that would be great for showing off lots of your print on your Ankara fabric. And one of the things that I think is fantastic about using Ankara fabric on patterns like this is that Ankara fabric and African wax print fabric, it gives really wonderful shape. So if you're going to do a belled sleeve, it will hold that bell shape really nicely. Now I've made this pattern before, and I believe I made version C, and I used a very soft cotton voile fabric, and it's a beautiful blouse. I wear it, but the puff on the sleeve isn't as pronounced as if I had used an African wax print fabric, because those fabrics keep their crispness and they hold shape really nicely. So any pattern that requires volume or poof, an African wax print fabric or Ankara fabric would be perfect for it. So just imagine taking this simple tunic style button-up shirt here, using a standout Ankara fabric, and then those puff sleeves to add a little extra Girl, people are gonna be checking you out, okay? Because it will take this basic pattern and really elevate it. You can go ahead and make the belt if you want to. There's lots of different versions of the sleeves that you can try out, which I think is really cool. Lots of different ways to show off your fabric, especially with View B, because View B has a double layered sleeve, which could really be cool in Ankara fabric. I just think this lends itself so well to really be a showstopper and a stunner. So definitely check out this pattern and see if they have it in your local Joann's, or if you can still get it online on Etsy or even at the Simplicity website. But I have made this, I really enjoyed this pattern, and I will absolutely make this again in an Ankara fabric. The next pattern is actually one that I've purchased recently, a few months back, and I haven't made it yet, but I really love it. It is the Ashling Blouse and Dress pattern by Paper Cut Patterns, and I'll see if I can find a couple of flip through pictures so that you can see. There's so many different versions that you can make with this particular pattern. It has a couple of different collar options. You could make a very basic button up like this, and what makes this particular pattern special, if you make this basic version, is the sleeves. I'm not sure if you can see because of my ring light, but she has little ruffles at the sleeve, and that's really beautiful. It has a standard collar here, and it is full length, so you could tuck it in, but there's other options as well that I think really make it stand out as a very unique pattern. I will insert pictures of other versions that have been made on their website so that you can see the different variations of this pattern, but you can make two different collar variations, one with a standard regular fold down collar, then they have this really cool pleated collar that stands up, and there's a picture of what the back of that looks like here, but I'll insert pictures of what it looks like from the front, pulled from their website. I think that is such a cool feature and would be a really neat way to draw attention to your top that you're wearing and really show off the print on your fabric. all versions come with this awesome sleeve that's kind of poofy, but then has the ruffle at the wrist. Really, really beautiful detail. You can make the regular full-length version, or you can make the cropped version, which I really like, that has a gathered ruffle around the bottom. I think that would be really cute with some high-waisted jeans and some boots or heels or whatever. But I really love that this pattern not only comes with 2 different shirt variations, 2 different color variations, but you could also make it in a dress. I plan to make all versions because I think they're all fantastic, but for a button-up shirt that is pretty much basic until you use Ankara fabric and really elevate it, I think that the extra detail of the wrist ruffle as well as the possible collar ruffle would really lend itself well for showing off some awesome Ankara fabric. The next 3 patterns I have, and I know this seems like a lot, but I'm done after this. As I mentioned before, I had a huge stack that I had to narrow down my picks to. But the next ones are actually patterns you may already have as basic patterns in your stash. One of them is just a standard Mandarin collar pattern, and it's very basic, rather boring, I would say. The most interesting thing about this particular pattern that I would say would be the fact that it doesn't have full-length sleeves. I personally prefer a full-length sleeve in all of my tops, but if you are a person that likes a shorter sleeve, this might be one for you. If you're someone that works with your hands a lot, maybe you're washing dishes a lot, or whatever the case may be, maybe having a shorter sleeve like this is more conducive to your lifestyle. I love this pattern because it's so simple and basic. But once you pair it with the right African wax print fabric or Ankara fabric, I promise you it will be a stunner. I definitely think that this is a basic pattern that could be elevated with Ankara fabric. Bonus features of this particular pattern are that there is a tank version which you could use, as well as a skirt and pants. Very nice value pattern, but we're focusing on the shirt, and I think that it would be a really good standard pattern. Now, if you are a person that doesn't want to have a lot of voluminous features to your top, you just want a basic clean line top and you want the fabric to be the main shine in your outfit, then this is a really great option for you. If you work in an office and you want to wear an African wax print fabric, but you want your design of your top to be very simplified, this is a good option for you. Now, the next 2 patterns are basic button-ups, one of which I have plans to make pretty soon here. I'm really excited about it. I'm actually going to be making it out of denim, is the Style So Me Daphne top. And this is a basic button-up top that can be made out of lots of different fabrics. But because it's a basic button-up, it's going to be more tailored to the body and really suitable for any type of cotton fabric. But if you want to step out and just really show off and get attention, even though you're wearing a basic button-up, definitely elevate this pattern with some Ankara fabric, okay? I think it would be a really good addition to your wardrobe. Say you wanted to pair a button-up with a suit, right? You have your nice slacks, you have a blazer. Well, sometimes the actual shirt that you're wearing, if it's a basic button-up, gets lost in all of that, right? But if you have an awesome Ankara fabric, it will have a punch that just comes through the center of your suit and lets people know that yes, you're all business, but you also like to have some fun, okay? So I definitely recommend a basic button-up when you're considering what button-up pattern you want to choose to use or elevate with Ankara. So consider using the Style So Me Daphne top. Okay, so the next pattern that I want to share with you is another basic button-up. However, this one has a twist because it comes with a couple of different style options. This particular pattern is the Pattern Scout Birdie. Now you have the option of doing a regular button-up shirt, or you can have one that has pleating down the front, or you can make a dress. You can do a standard fold down collar, or you can make a Mandarin collar. This is a very good value pattern because you get so many options to play with. And that's one of the things that I really love about a few of the patterns that I've selected for this particular category, because the patterns can be either shirts or dresses and have more than one collar option. Now, I was first introduced to this pattern because my friend Teresa of Lost My Thread actually did a series, or I want to say it was called Battle of the Busty Button-Ups, something like that. And it was really cool to watch her walk through the process of comparing several different button-up blouses. And one of the versions she made was this blouse, and I believe she made the pleated front version, and I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. Now for this particular pattern, if you're going to do the pleated version, I recommend using an Ankara fabric that has smaller scaled prints on it. I think that would be so beautiful. Or you could get very creative, and if you have large scale flowers that you want to have that crinkled pleated effect down the front of them, it would almost look as though the flower is blooming or opening up, and I think that that could be really cool too. So absolutely think that this is a great pattern suggestion if you're looking to have a more basic structured button down top, but you want pops of color by using Ankara fabric. I think this would be a really cool pattern to try out. All right, so those were all the patterns in my stash that I think would work out really well with Ankara fabric. If you enjoyed watching this video and you enjoyed seeing my pattern suggestions and you want to see the reveal of my finished garment, I encourage you to return to my channel on December the 20th, and on that day I will be revealing the finished garment, okay? I'm excited to work on this and bring it to you, and I hope that this video has inspired you to think about some button-up tops that could be really elevated with Ankara fabric. Now for some additional inspiration, head over to Creativity by T, Talisha's channel, and check out the button-up patterns that she selected from her stash that she thinks would be really great with Ankara fabric. If you haven't already watched our interview with CJ of House of Mami Wata, I encourage you to please watch that video, because as I mentioned before, there is a special code in that video that will allow you to be able to get free fabric in addition to your purchase when you use our code. Also, you're going to learn a lot of really neat information from CJ. She is from Nigeria, and she's sharing some really great tips, tricks, and information about Ankara fabric, so you don't want to miss out on that. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, give Talisha a thumbs up and subscribe to her channel as well. And be sure to return to our channels on December the 20th, where we will be revealing our very first finished garment in the series. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Talk to you soon. Bye.